Gohan is a character quite talked about and one of the most popular Dragon Ball characters in general. He's a relatable character and actually has a personality and development. He feels emotion when needed to and has a unique personality and many others that I don't want to go off on a tangent about. As many of you know, I'm really passionate about voice acting, specifically Dragon Ball voice acting. I made successful videos talking about voices of certain characters. Goku and Piccolo were pretty straightforward, but boy oh boy, I have a lot of stuff to say about the voice acting of Gohan, since he's next on the list of course. In fact, I have so much of my Gohan voice analysis that I'll actually have to split this video up into 2 parts. In this part, I'll talk about Kid Gohan and his many voice actresses that voiced him, so let's dive right in. Starting things off, the main voice of Kid Gohan consists of Masako Nozawa from Japanese Dragon Ball, Stephanie and Nadolney from all English releases up until Kai, Colleen Clinkenbeard from Dragon Ball Kai onwards, and 2 lesser known ones that you may not have known, Saffron Henderson and Jillian Michaels from the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball. Masako Nozawa portrays Kid Gohan in such a way that makes him unique, and it truly does show that she fully understands Gohan's character. I also love how Nozawa gives a different tone of voice from Gohan than Goku, where Gohan speaks intelligently and logical, contrasting to Goku, where he's supposed to sound like a random dude who came from the forest who was shot in the head by a girl. Oh, okay, we're not gonna go there. Anyways, her performance is pretty self-explanatory and straightforward, as she does it in such a way to make the watcher understand the character as well, and she really didn't make Gohan come to life in a way with her great performance. So I have next to no complaints with Masako Nozawa. Now on to Stephanie and Nadolney. She and the next one are by far the most controversial on this list. Nadolney used her Kid Goku voice as well, and her Gohan is like in a raspy kid going through puberty, if that makes sense. This worked okay for the Cell Saga, as in the Z dub, Gohan is stated to be 11 when he should be 9 to 10, but let's not get too much into it. I think her performance in the Cell games as an 11-year-old is fine, as it sounds somewhat like a preteen, and you say what you will, her screams were awesome, and she showed she was capable of holding the voice and could show the rage of Gohan very good. She understood the character pretty nicely for the most part, but now that I'm done with her positives, let's go to the negatives of her performance. Her voice is deeper. Yeah, deeper. It sounds like a prepubescent boy, if I'm being real. Like I said earlier, it works fine for the Cell Game Saga, but the others just come off as too deep. I'm sorry, Gohan is like 4 to 5 at the beginning of the Saiyan Saga. He should not sound like a freaking 13-year-old. That's my biggest problem. Stephanie's voice was too deep, raspy, and while she did understand the character and have some very good screams, her voice itself felt out of place in the beginning. Let's go to Colleen Clinkenbeard. I think recasting Nadolney was actually a good choice, as now we get to hear an English Kid Gohan that actually sounds like a child. Her performance is so well done. My personal favorite is her scene where Gohan brutally lays an attack on second form Frieza, and Colleen shows her capabilities as a screamer and showing emotion. Her dialogue scenes show that she understands the character and she actually sounds like a young, intelligent, and peaceful child. When she goes to youth Gohan in the Cell games, she adds a slightly deeper tone but keeping the child personality there. Since Dragon Ball Kai is much closer to the manga, Gohan is 9 in this version, so it makes much more sense for him not to hit puberty at the stages just yet. But why does she have so much controversy? Some people need to understand, Dragon Ball isn't all about the screaming and the fights, and that's kind of where Nadolney stands out. That's her best. But the thing is, Dragon Ball isn't made of completely that. It has story and characters, and to move the story, the characters execute and show it via dialogue, actions, etc. Colleen does a great job with moving the story and showing pretty much the viewer what Gohan's like through dialogue, and she does a great job with her performance, and nearly every single line she says has meaning. While others will disagree, saying Colleen sounds too feminine as Kid Gohan, you do need to take it under consideration of what young boys actually do sound like. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, and I mean, it still does sound pretty feminine even for a young boy, but for the most part, she does it good. Stephanie does sound like a boy, but it's a little too much for my liking. Saffron Henderson, if I'm being honest, she has my favorite voice out of everyone here. It's a really good young boy impression, and she doesn't sound too feminine nor deep. It's a fantastic balance right there, and I think that's one of her high points. She has the best voice, and she kept a great balance throughout the entire run. However, the delivery I felt fell flat at certain points. Her screams are absolutely atrocious, and when it comes down to showing emotion, I saw next to no depth with her Gohan. I'm sorry. I couldn't even tell sometimes if she was excited, happy, or scared. Like I had a hard time interpreting what her emotion was as Gohan sometimes. She had the potential and the best voice, but the acting and the delivery felt flat for me to enjoy her performance. Although I do think she did okay in certain scenes with showing emotions. The overall general perspective, though, isn't okay. Not great, not bad. Jillian Michaels. Man. Okay, let's get this right out of the way. Her acting as Gohan shows that she doesn't understand the character at all. I've listened to her other roles, and they're much better than this, because she actually cares and understands what the character is there. I think she had the wrong direction in mind when it came down to voicing Gohan. She does a good job on the boy part, and because she does sound like a young boy, and I think it's just as good as Colleen, if not better. But I do also find it kind of funny how Saffron, a Gohan at a younger point, sounds somewhat older than a 9 to 11-year-old Gohan here. It's hard to base off her performance, as all we saw from her was the Cell game stuff, and that's kind of where it gets harder to find the ocean up for that. Her Gohan sounds like a little kid thinking he can destroy the super powerful villain and actually loves fighting. No, that's not the real character of Gohan. I think she had the wrong character in mind. So while she had a decent young boy voice for Gohan, it can't save the fact that the awful direction made her and everyone else misunderstand Gohan's character. So the overall order I'd give from best to worst would be Masako Nozawa at number 1, then Colleen Clinkenbeard, and then I'd say Stephanie Nadolney and Saffron Henderson are tied for their Gohan voice, because I kind of go back and forth for which one I like more, so you know, I'll just keep them tied for now. And then we go to Jillian Michaels, who's probably my least favorite. And guys, that's been our video for today. What did you guys think of the video? I would like to hear everyone's thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree or disagree? Well, let's just discuss this all in the comments down below. And one thing I ask, guys, please be civil and mature and respect everyone's opinion. And guys, just to clarify, there will be a part 2 of the voices of Gohan talking about older Gohan. Trust me, I'll be a lot more positive in that video. It'll come hopefully soon. But anyways guys, thanks so much for watching. Ninja out. Peace everybody.